So we'll kick it off. I wear a lot of hats, and one of the hats is I'm the co-chair of the Autonomous Vehicle Task Force for the city of Beverly Hills. And the whole way that the Autonomous Vehicle Program Beverly Hills started, where Fred, wherever he is, he touched on it, was the medical issue. So Beverly Hills has an age-in-place policy, and we're running 2 human-driven shuttles to and from Cedars-Sinai Hospital, which is 1.1 miles over the border. And if you're a senior today, the city can pay for your taxi cab to leave the city to go to Cedars, but the city, because of blue laws, cannot pay for you to come back. In order to schedule a shuttle, you have to do it 48 hours in advance, and as you know, the medical incidents come up, and you can't wait 48 hours, and you can't necessarily afford to get there. And so the city really views the autonomous vehicles as allowing that to happen, allowing individuals access to that type of transportation and to the hospital. And then the other thing is we just really want to experiment, and we don't know, and we want to put the vehicles on the streets of Beverly Hills, and we want to allow people to come and test and deploy and learn. We've taken an approach in Beverly Hills where we're not going to prejudge the technology. We're not going to jump to conclusions. We say, come in, have a conversation, let's have lunch with the mayor, and let's see how you want to deploy. And that's really where we're trying to go, and hopefully we can get a fleet on the road this year, and we'll see though.
Yeah, Grayson's main approach is to try to gain public acceptance of the technology, and it's loaded with challenges. He's faced many, but in my opinion, and the opinion of most of the people I talked to, Fred alluded to this just a few minutes ago, that the public is not quite ready to accept this yet, and all the autopilot accidents and such that are happening lately are spooking people even more. So maybe Grayson, you could talk a little bit about what might help ease public attitudes.
So the public is ready. You're seeing a lot of fake news, false news, whatever you want to call it. I would just call it bullshit. I mean, that's really, truly what it is. So we're doing it. So I partner with SAE, and they've been getting a lot of, nonsense here, but they're doing really good stuff, and they're trying, and they're an engineering culture. And what we've been able to do is we're doing a series of autonomous vehicle demo days, and we're going around the country, and we're allowing the public to go for rides, and we're allowing the public to ask questions. And one thing that we're doing that's never been done before is we're surveying passengers before and after the ride and how their perceptions change. And from that data, we're working on a data set, but 85% of the public that has taken a ride in one of our demos will put their child in the vehicle without a driver. And that says a lot. We've had situations where people are panicking, oh, we're not going in, and you're gonna kill me, I'm gonna die. And I said, no, I'm not gonna kill you. She's like, well, if you kill me, I'm gonna come back and I'm gonna haunt you. And we got her in the vehicle, and she came out and gave me a big hug, said, well, the good news, I didn't die. The bad news is I was bored. And she became trusting of the technology. We've had an 8.5-month pregnant lady. We've had 2-year-olds, 3-year-olds, 4-year-olds, 94, 95, and there's the education in the public is that they want it. And they're not buying into the headlines, and they're not buying into the hype because they see the real reasons why they want it. And it's really important that we put the public in the vehicle, so when the nonsense in the news comes, they'll say, no, I actually went in that vehicle, and it's safe, and it'll really help the industry move forward.
I have to take exception to the fake news label. There's some of that out there, but some of the problems that companies like Tesla are having with autopilot are very real, and self-inflicted too. Absolutely. Any questions for Grayson? Yes.
On that issue about fake news reports, I see it somewhat as a test because, incidents do occasionally happen. Something backs into a Navia or things like that. And this is just a layman's perception that the public in general acknowledges that, yeah, there might be a few bumps, but the time has come for this technology. Let's get it worked out. And I get from your feedback that's what you're getting on the individual before and after test.
Before and after, the public wants it, and the interesting thing is the public's highly educated about it. When you sit there and you have a conversation with the public, you're just like, what? Highly educated. And then I think one of the biggest misnomers is with the Waymo crash, where the gentleman ran the red light, and the headline was, Waymo car gets an accident. Well, the guy ran the red light, and the Waymo car was in manual mode. It wasn't even being driven, but that was the headline. And it leads to all these false narratives, and the Waymo came out, and they said, here's the video. We saw the same thing in California, Bernard could tell you, with the Lyft car, and then there was an incident with Zoox. They said, oh, it ran over the bicyclist. And so the guy's tweeting, and Zoox put up the video, and the guy's like trying to grab onto the vehicle and punch it. And so, that's going to be an issue from a political standpoint of dealing with people that want to make a bigger incident out of it. And they're trying to, oh, well, let's blame the robot. We can sue Google. They have a lot of money. They'll just pay us to go away. And that's a really incident. You saw some of that at the old Drive AI headquarters in Mountain View. They were right off the highway. And it says automated test vehicle. And people would try and hit it because they think it was funny. And so we have to get over that public perception. That I haven't figured out yet, but for the most part, the public is really, really wanting the technology.
Paul?
So it's one thing to collect it in, and this is great. I mean, you've got empirical evidence that suggests that the public's ready for this. What's the marketing strategy for getting the word out on that? Because I'm wondering how somebody's got to do something to counter the crazy stories that are out there, being fueled by, I think, people who are jealously guarding the status quo.
When the data set is a general consensus of the United States population, the data set will be released to the public, and it will counter every single report out there. And there's a very large media partner and several media partners that will take it. And because the big question is, if you're that geek like me and you read the fine print, how did you do the survey? There's not one question on any of the ones I've read. Have you ever ridden an automated vehicle? Have you ever been in a self-driving car? Not a Tesla, but a real self-driving car. They never asked that question, so you're just going off of assumptions off of headlines. And so I believe that data is highly skewed because of that.
But that's real. I mean, they're living in a world where they have not been in the car yet. I agree with you. As soon as you get in one of these and spend a few minutes, your anxiety goes away very quickly. But most of the public is paying attention to what the media has to say, and I agree that a lot of what's out there is hyped. I also think that the industry is not doing a very good job in general, with a few exceptions like yourself, of trying to assure the public. So I personally think this is going to continue to be a problem, and the path that you're taking is I think going to be helpful.
Thanks for that. I think that at some points the industry is its own worst enemy, and they don't understand the public, and they don't want to relate to the public. It's just, I'm going to build the best engineering product, and that's what I'm going to do. But you can have the best product in the world, the best engineered product, but if the public doesn't accept it, we're dead in the water. And the industry has to avoid foot and mouth disease.
One more question from Bees.
So, yeah, how many solutions that you look at? How many people have lunch with the mayor, et cetera? And what's your timing to pick one and deploy?
We've had hundreds of lunches with the mayor. We get to the point where we think we're close, and the companies pull out. We've offered to buy the vehicles. We've offered to lease the vehicles. We've worked with the DMV to make sure everything is in cahoots, and we just have not been able to get over the farm for a while. Oh, you're just, you're Beverly Hills, and then now it's, oh, you're too small. And so there's always this excuse, and for some reason we've just never been able to get over the hump. We get really close, but we just never get over the hump.